If you're positive, you'd see opportunities instead of obstacles. Welcome to JollyTalk. So why should we be talking about certificate and skill? The incomparable. It's obvious that skill is more valuable than any form of certification whatsoever. In fact, it's because of skill, that certificates came in the first place. What do you think? Can you imagine that certificates can be better than skill?
Well, certificates and skills. I think certificates is more important than skill. When you come to think of it, the reason schools were built in the first place is to formalize things, give people certificates, to make things in order. You don't want peasants roaming the streets claiming they have skills, so to say. So certificates are more important than skills.
Yeah, I understand the concept of, before now that they'd say that education is the great equalizer. It makes, nobody somebody. But we've gone beyond that in the world today. It's not about nobody becoming somebody. It's about what impact you are making in the world. You understand? And you make impact with your hands, You don't make impact just because of, there's a paper that verifies you. You understand? You make impact because of what you can do. So any day, anytime, I stand with skills.
No matter how you try to force skill into being the most important thing in the world, it's definitely not. Certificate is everyone that tries to make their way into power, fame, or some kind of status in terms of wealth, money. They all go for certifications eventually, no matter how much skill they claim to have gotten. So certificate is more important. There's a reason they're going for these certificates. You have to stay formal, you have to stay organized. That's the point. That's why certificate is more important than skill.
Brother, let me tell you something. I appreciate your English, but now certificate they finish Nigeria. You understand? Too much certificates. Almost everybody certified one thing or the other. But at the end of the day, when they get to offices, organizations, they can't perform. You understand? Because even the offices do not even believe in the certificates. After you come with your certificates, they now organize training so that they can make it possible for you to be able to do what they want you to do. But people who come with skills, they do not require, just imagine the guys that go for apprenticeship. They do not have any major, internationally recognized kind of certificates. But when they get to do the job, they perform. Most of the time these guys come in through recommendations. They do not require training, because they can perform. But when somebody comes in with paper, and then lots of paper, and then you say do the job, and then the next thing they are looking for somebody who can do it, who does not necessarily have certificate. Certificate is finishing Nigeria, I must tell you.
No matter how you want to place it, there is always a hierarchy. Let's look at the construction industry, for example. There are people that work in the construction industry, and they are all placed in hierarchy. Now imagine the ones without certificates. Where do you think they are placed? They're placed as laborers, artisans, bricklayers, carpenters, welders, tilers. They have skills, but that's their base. Then look at those that have certifications. They run as engineers, architects, and some other positions. That's because they have certificates, and they earn more money. They do less energy tasking job. Someone that is working as a laborer, for example, he has the skills, but he's going to work so hard just to make the money. And then someone that is working as an engineer, he doesn't have the skill the laborer has, but he has the certificate. He supervises, he gives instructions, he decides how things are done. This is why certificate is more important than skill.
Okay. Well, I think in terms of hierarchy, I think it's level of skill, actually. It's who knows more. Even in a situation where certificate makes one person higher than the other, when there's a skill, there's a level of skill that comes on board. Even certification recognizes it. To a very large extent, I do not believe that order that is used of people who have certificates being higher. Note, I'm not saying people who have certificates don't have skills. You understand? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when you put two of them back to back, as in like side by side against each other, you know, the skill is more valuable. I can assure you that those guys that have certificates that are up there and stay up there, it's because of the skills that they have to back the certificate. If skills are not backing certificates, I tell you the truth, that thing is just clean, clear paper.
Maybe we should look at it in the sense of definition. What's really a skill? I believe a skill is just the knack, like the ability to be able to execute a manual job properly. I believe that's where skill comes into play. But then when it comes to certification, it's not just about being able to execute something. It's also knowing why you're making that execution. In school, they teach you why these things are done. Some schools teach you how these things are done. Polytechnics do that job for you. They teach you how these things are done. Universities, on the other hand, they teach you why these things are done. But at the end of the whole sequence, they give you a piece of paper to tell everybody that you've been taught this. Not that you know it, that you've been taught this. So it's your fault if you don't know it. You've been in the educational system where you could learn any course of your choice. You could go and study law, you could go and study medicine, and you came out of that environment with all the libraries and all the books that you were exposed to. And you just happen not to know these things. It's not the school's fault, it's really the person's fault. But the school gives you this certification that you know these things. You have this certification. That the document, as we call it, a piece of paper, tells everybody that this person is at this level for this job. Not in terms of skill now, in terms of certification. That's what's important. If someone that just has only the skills walks into the building, they have to verify. Okay, you say you have the skills, yes sir. Or you're telling me, what can you do? That's the next thing that happens. But when you come up with this certification, they don't need to ask you, okay, can you do this or can you do that? Because you have the certificate, they have this confidence that, okay, because you've been given the certificate, it means you can do these things. They don't have to re-verify what you're capable of doing anymore. That's why the certificate is more important. It's just so sad that in Nigeria, the system is failed to the point that even schools can't even be trusted. So in some cases when people bring their certificate, BSc certification for example, into an office and they say, okay, I'm a certified, I'm a graduate from so-so school, mass communication. The next thing they will ask you is, okay, so what can you do? Because they just believe that the school has failed, so that certificate is null and void. They want to know what you can do. They treat you as a skilled personnel, which is not supposed to be. It's just the fault of the school system. In ideal situation, in an ideal setting, having a certificate is more important than having a skill.
Okay. So we see, in moving forward, let's think about it, you know, what really matters. For each individual case, you know, it varies, you know, but whatever be the case, we have spoken, you know, what our minds are about skill and certificates. It's left to you to make your choice or pick the two if you feel that works for you as well, you know, and keep moving forward. That's critical in everything. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to, you know, check us out next week, because it's not over until. So.